Welcome to 57 of the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
Oh, it's been a while. The Wall 77 Club on Facebook and Instagram, at 77 Club Podcast on Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. If you remember us, please subscribe and like and do all that.
All correct. Excellent. Dan Bayliss is here.
Hello, Wolves fans.
And Jack Williams.
Hi, everybody.
So it is back from the summer break, isn't it? We split up, I think, just as the Euros were going to start. I think we did the last podcast on a Wednesday and the Euros started on the Friday. Bayliss, we had a conversation, didn't we, on that podcast? You said Italy were going to win it. I said it's coming home. You were right in the end. You cashed in your bet, so didn't you? I thought that was a win-win for you.
Yeah, I couldn't take the thought of winning lots of money and England losing it, so I cashed them before the final.
No, fair enough. It's a tournament where we should have been talking about how well England did, getting to the first final in 55 years, all the omens that we no longer have to talk about. We don't have to talk about Euro 96 anymore, do we? I don't think. It resets a little bit, doesn't it? I mean, the World Cup's obviously a little bit different last time winning the major tournament, but obviously the big talking point, I think, pretty much as soon as the final whistle went, was racism is back. And you know, it's reared its ugly head again. And I'll start with you, Bayliss. Is this something that happens when a Prime Minister and a Home Secretary don't sort of say that booing the knee is a bad thing?
No, I think they're totally unrelated, to be perfectly honest. I think there are racists and they are going to be racist. But to date, there's only been 2 arrests, I think.
I think 5 now. Five arrests.
Is it 5 now? Right, that's probably happened throughout the day. But still, 5 arrests. So if there's this, why aren't they getting these people? I mean, I had a look at what was said to Rashford because I was just doing the Twitter scroll. A lot of it's overseas, vast majority of it.
One's a Wolves fan, though.
It's from the Middle East.
Allegedly.
Weirdly. A lot of Arab men tweeting racism, allegedly. That's what I saw just from me scrolling through Twitter. All of it's absolutely abhorrent. Like, nothing to do with their footballing ability. And if you want to slam them, go and slam them for not being able to score a goal from 12 fucking yards. That's what you hammer them for. It's got nothing to do with their black, brown, purple, white, orange. Does not matter. Their background doesn't matter. They're all professional footballers. And if you're going to hammer them for not being able to score. And I think it's probably not justified on the whole because they're young kids, 2 of them. And it's not nice to get stuck into them. They were bad penalties. And that's no justification for anything that's been said that oversteps that mark of criticism or things that are going to get written when someone does something wrong or bad. And it's vile abuse. But yes, they should be criticised because they were 3 bad penalties.
Harry,
there's a fine line that's not really being discussed at the moment. There's a group of people that have been racist, and that's fucking horrible, and it shouldn't happen. There's also now this mass social following saying, we're so proud of you. You're the greatest thing ever. You're our kings. You think, happy to say that if they'd have all slotted their penalties and we win it 5-4 or 4-3. Great. You are the king. You've brought it home. Congratulations. But they aren't kings. They aren't heroes. But they shouldn't have had the horrible racist abuse they did get. I think there's been a real weird media loving smattering of God knows what. On
Are they not heroes? Are they not heroes? Are they not?
I think the team have done brilliantly well. Take nothing away from them at all. Fantastic result for England to get as far as they did. I thought we were a bit shoddy in the second half, but we had a fantastic tournament, and I'm really proud of every one of those England players. Hugely proud of them. But they aren't the kings. They didn't bring it home, and I think we've got to have a bit of realism as well.
Sorry for laughing there. What I want to say is, obviously, I always feel a bit uncomfortable talking about the racism subject because we're just 4 white lads sat here, so it's a bit weird. But it was horrendous, the racist abuse. And I want to talk about the tournament as a whole because I haven't really been Gareth Southgate's biggest fan. I know he did well in 2018, but especially after the group stage as well, I was still not really his biggest fan. I thought we were very negative, but after that Germany win, I was a believer. I loved him. But still, I still think that we could have won that final if it would have been a bit more positive after we went 1-0 up after that first 20 minutes. And I think it was one manager outwitting another. I know Italy are probably slightly better than us, maybe. They're probably the slight favourites. But I think it was there for the taking, and we know what penalties are like, and it was absolutely devastating to lose like that. But you've got to be proud of them because I didn't think we'd get to the final, to be honest. So Southgate's probably the best manager we've had in my in my era and our era of following England. But there is his faults, his tactical substitutions and things like that. But the way he's dealt with the media the last 2 tournaments has been incredible. And I think that's the secret to our success, is getting the media on side and not just being doom mongers. So, yeah, I'm proud of England, but it's nearly a week ago now and I'm kind of over it. But Monday and Tuesday, mate, I was suicidal. I didn't want to watch football again. So there we go. But they did us proud. And the abuse that the 3 lads got was horrendous. And he shouldn't have given the 4th and 5th penalty and the 3rd to such young lads, in my opinion.
Well, I'd hardly touched the ball.
How's he giving it to players that haven't kicked a ball?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Strange.
Jack, you shared a semi with Bayliss. Wembley.
Not the first time.
Just tell us about that experience, because I imagine it's like nothing you've experienced before.
It was brilliant, really. It was really, really good. It's something that I've actually, to tell the truth, that's the first England professional football game that I've ever been to. And it was a great one to go to. I mean, Bayliss and I sort of bought the tickets, which were quite expensive when we were a bit drunk, and we sort of were the next day a little bit, was it a good idea? Well, would we spent too much? But I walked away from that game, obviously, after extra time against Denmark, and I thought to myself, that was totally worth it. It was worth every penny. I'd do the same again for the final. Obviously, final tickets were long gone by then. But it was a great atmosphere. You know, we were sat next to a lad, bloke and his young lad, and they're Albion fans, and we were having a chat with them.
No way.
Which wouldn't usually happen, would it really? And I know when we scored the equaliser, Dan and I went flying down about 3 rows of seats in front of us. It was carnage. But it was just a really great occasion. Obviously, even better than the fact that we won, and it's made our first major final in so many years. So I know it's hard to say, and there's been some, obviously, the stuff that's happened around the racism, around the crowd control, behaviour, has sort of overshadowed it a bit. But what a great tournament it was. I think it's one we'll look back on, like we look back now, or people a bit older than us look back on Euro 96 or Italia 90. And just in that sort of, because not just from an England perspective, some of the football and the games were so entertaining. It wasn't like a boring set of games. There's no boring group games. There were no shit teams, really, apart from Scotland. So I think that straight away makes it better when you think it actually, Hungary couldn't beat Germany here, and you actually thought they could at some points, and it just makes it so much.
Switzerland knocking out France was the mad one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was the madness, right?
Incredible. And I think when you look back at it, actually, all of the penalty shootouts, I would say the weaker side of the 2 teams had always gone through. And stick to that in the final. No. So, I mean, like you say, I think it will be looked back upon fondly. And Harry, I think you're right about Southgate's record. I've been one of his biggest critics. You know, losing 3 times in 2018, still get to a semi-final. So it actually goes semi-final, 3rd place in the Nations League, 2nd place in the Euros. So what's that? A World Cup win in 2022.
Oh, I hope so. I think we've got the talent there, but I just wanted to be honest, that Germany game, when he played 5 at the back, I didn't mind it. It got the job done. If we'd have lost, it'd have been hung, drawn and quartered, let's be honest. But I just wanted to be a bit more positive, and I still think he's a bit like Nuno in that aspect. I think he's a bit gun shy with his substitutions. He leaves them too late and he don't really want to take risks. So that's my only criticism of him, though. He can't be perfect, can he? We've had so many England managers with faults over the years, and that's his fault. Everything else, the way he is in interviews, the way he deals with the media, like I've said, is absolutely incredible. And I like how brave he is as well. Like when he took Grealish off in extra time, like a lot of managers over the years really let the pressure get to him. So I'm glad he's his own man, makes his own decisions, which a lot of people don't agree with, but he got us to the final. And if it had gone one step further, you couldn't have moaned at all. But that's just my only thing. His substitutions are a bit weird.
That Denmark game had gone a bit dead before he brought Grealish on. He never gave Grealish much time, or Sancho, I think.
He came on and did his job and then came off for a defender. You can't argue.
Grealish won us the Germany game as well when he came on. He was
what he said about goals.
He changed it.
Slightly negative in place. I mean, we can't knock the record, can you? It's there. It's facts on paper, but slightly negative. I mean,
and he didn't play Cody. That's the biggest negative.
Jack absolutely hammered me for putting Cody in my dream team, but the nonce got an England shirt with his name on the back. He didn't play a single minute.
I don't care, man. I think
would any of you have minded if he'd have brought on the attacking players, the kids, the Sancho, Bellingham, Grealish against Italy? We'd have had 4 or 5 chances in the second half rather than none and lost it 2-1. Probably not.
It's irrelevant, isn't it?
No, I'd rather go to penalties. I'd rather go to penalties and have a chance of winning it.
The thing is, though, Italy won a
Really, we
penalty
had 6
shootout.
penalties in this competition and missed 4 of them.
Well, Italy had a penalty shootout in the semi as well. That's quite lucky to win back-to-back penalty shootouts. So
no one's done that in the
their
tournament.
keeper is a monster.
Keeper.
But
Yeah.
Pickford was good as well, wasn't he? For us,
Yeah,
Like,
we
so-
were let down by the players taking the penalties. I think one thing I do want to ask actually is I know everyone's seen the scenes of like people storming down the stewards and breaking into Wembley and all this stuff, and there's apparent repercussions about us like not being able to obviously charged by UEFA, not being able to get a World Cup or Euros for the thing ever again. But honest answer, let's say you've been on the beers around Wembley all day without a ticket. You saw it's not. I know it's not quite like jumping the fence in the old days, but if you saw a few people with a weak steward and a few charged past them, would you dart for it and just hope? I think
I'm
most
being
of us
completely
probably would.
honest. This is me. I'll probably, if I get cancelled, I don't care. If I'd had a few beers and I was outside Wembley and I was in a chance to get in, I'd run in.
Yeah, I think most of us would really. I know it's stupid.
We
and
literally
but-
bribed a Slovenian school teacher to get us
Yeah, exactly. So we've got a history of sport. But
got
it didn't
no
our fault.
moral compass.
There should have been more security there. There weren't enough police presence and things like that.
I
It was
agree.
it was an absolute joke the way they handled it. So
Thing is, though, people talk about, don't give a tournament to England. It's like, oh yeah, we've got tournaments coming out of our ears. I mean, to be fair, the last one just gone was pretty much at home. But
and
if we haven't held
96.
one since 1966, and Qatar have lost about 2,000 people to
We held
migrant
96
labour
England.
building stadiums. I'm sorry, but a couple of fans running in and annoying everyone is not the same as people dying on
Just
construction
classic
sites in the
football.
middle of the desert.
Classic football. They don't care who dies building it or the effects of places hosting stuff. It's like the Olympics. Everyone since London's been an absolute utter disaster. Yeah.
There's only been about two.
Well,
I think,
It's
isn't
a
it?
bit harsh. Isn't it?
Yeah, like the Chinese ones, all the stadiums are rotting and left. And
That was
same in
pre-2012.
Greece, same in
Oh,
Rio,
you
same
mean
in Rio and-
leftover infrastructure?
Yeah,
is
and
what
just-
you mean. Okay.
and just
I'll tell you what,
crap,
though.
whereas we do it properly.
I've only just, like, probably today or yesterday, have come back to actually, I know this might sound bad, but caring about, because I've been so engrossed with the Euros. Obviously, Wolves been making signings, Lage has started pre-season. I haven't been that bothered about it because I've been that soaked up in the England journey. It's took me a good few days to get over it and now think, right, let's get our head back on the Wolves stuff now, which is, it was a bit sad, wasn't it, when it ended? I thought. I really
Yeah, it
wanted
was,
them to win it.
It was refreshing that there were no more games left once it ended, because normally that's the thing that hurts the most, isn't it? Is to see everyone else's party carrying on for another couple of weeks and we've gone out to Iceland or something. So
Could you have imagined what would have happened in London, especially if England had won? I mean, it's still
It was bad enough they lost.
It'd be like
smashed it up anyway.
1666 in Pudding Lane.
It would be like South Africa now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would have been
very,
chaos.
very topical.
Let's
then move on to Wolves, because that's what we're here to do. I think we'll start with the kit, to be honest, because it's dropped today, as the kids say, and I think it's pretty much split opinion, isn't it? Harry, start with you. Actually, Bayliss, I'll start with you because you were going to buy it, and then you got so annoyed at the website that you said you weren't going to buy it.
Yeah, that was me just trying to do it before I started work, to be honest, and it wasn't playing ball. I was trying to use my ticket cash because I had a few quid in ticket cash to knock some money off. But then I looked at the difference between the two shirts, and I couldn't really work out what it was, which again annoyed me because I don't know why
45
they're
quid.
different.
Yeah. So one's 55, one's 100. Are you going to buy it, Harry?
No, I'll be honest. I didn't rush to pre-order it. I think it looks all right. When the leaked ones come out, the white, the home, it's come out, and I just didn't want to rush to get it. 55 quid's a lot of money, isn't it? And
I want
100
to see
quid
the difference
especially.
between the two.
Yeah, and I think what it is as well, when you're like a natural athlete like me, I would need the 100 quid one. So I think I better wait till that goes down in price.
That is the difference, isn't it? The difference is the pro athletes look great in it, and the
Ethan, look in the
the one
comments,
that's like
it's a bit
bag of chips.
yellow. I agree with that. If you compare it to the one I've got on now, the colour difference. They never get it right, do they, these days?
We haven't seen it in the light yet, mate. We haven't seen
That
it up front.
does
That's
make a
making it
difference, doesn't it? Yeah, when you actually see it in real life and see it when everyone else wearing it, you might be more taken to it. Personally, I'm going to wait and just see what the away one is. I think everyone thinks it's going
It's
to be
that white one,
but,
isn't it?
Yeah, but if I was going to pick one, I'd probably pick the white one because it doesn't look. I know it's a different manufacturer, but it doesn't look that much different to the ones we've had the last 2 years. But
Like
that's
Sam
partly because of the
says,
sponsor. Isn't it?
Yeah,
But-
the sponsor. That's what ruins it. Does, doesn't it? It's just makes it look so bad.
what can you do, really? I mean, how long is that sponsor going to be in place for?
I don't know.
Is it
This
just
was-
the
I think this is-
rolling?
this is the last season, I think, officially, but I don't know.
But
You know.
on the positive side, I do like the socks. People were taking the piss out of the head on the socks. But I think
can't
like
like
it.
what?
I like the socks.
as well. The socks
I
are great.
I really like
the socks.
I'm going to turn up in the full kit for the first game of the season against Spurs. I'm going to wear my shin pads and
just the
everything.
socks. Just the socks.
I'll wear the socks on my arms. I'll just wear an old wool sock, the socks on my arms, wave them about.
I wouldn't put it past.
I did see quite a good Facebook comment earlier of our friend Chris that sits in front of us in the North Bank that never wears a shirt and asking him what's the point spending 55 quid to wear it.
That's true, isn't it? Yeah,
He just throws it on the pitch.
Throw it, and the steward keep having to return it.
Do we actually know what the difference is, other than the fact it's the?
It's literally it's like the England tops. Basically, the 100 quid one is what the players wear, so it's like lycra. It's got all the holes in it, so when you sweat, and the 55 quid one is just like your box standard one you'd get anyway. So they've basically just released
shirt for 55 quid.
Yeah, they've just released. It's like the England one. I think one was 99 quid, one was 70, wasn't it? The blue one, and probably the home one, and that's all it is. Is just the one the players wear. Bit of a farce, really, isn't it?
The thing is, they know they'll get some people buying both, won't they? Just if they collect them, they know they have to buy both now, and because it's £100, even if like you say they're 25
55 quid still a lot, though, isn't it? Don't you think?
Or if you think cheaper in the league,
I think it's a lot. I think like kind of what Dan was saying, or obviously with the ticket cash straight away, you get a few quid off, don't you, every year just by having your season tickets. So it kind of takes it down to 45, 50, which makes it a bit more reasonable. But it is a lot of money for what it is, and especially when after Christmas there'll be 45 quid, and then in March there'll be 30 quid, and they go out of season so quickly, don't they?
There'll be a tenner when we get relegated.
Well, in Christmas, yeah, probably.
First podcast of the year we've mentioned relegation.
It's funny, actually. Well, let's have a look at the fixtures. Obviously, the fixtures came out a couple of weeks ago now, hasn't it? And opening up at Leicester, is that just something that happens now? We just play Leicester.
There's got to be something in that every year, isn't it? We got Leicester away first or second game. It feels like it anyway.
Crazy. First home game, written in the stars, isn't it? Nuno brings his Tottenham side to Molineux, Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how that happened really with the Spurs thing, because it seemed like they had about 8 managers on the shortlist and Nuno was number 9 and he got the job. But the thing that makes me laugh about that is Spurs were the one team who, at the end of the season, after sacking Mourinho, they brought in an interim so they could, get the right person at the right time. And then it didn't happen. And then ended up with Nuno, who was that far down the list. So basically, it shows sometimes it's not taking your time isn't the best approach. Sometimes you just got to go for it when it's there. But interesting. I think he'll definitely get a good reception. First home game back for me. It's my first Wolves game, and pushing on a year and a half by the time it happens. So, it's got to be a special occasion, really. Unless, obviously, this new variant means it will all be behind closed doors again in a month with the cases going up again. But
you played on the pitch the other week, mate.
That's true. I wouldn't call that quite football, though.
That certainly is true.
But I think it'll be a good occasion. And, I won't do anything stupid like boo Nuno or anything. I'll welcome him back. I actually wish him well at Spurs. Hope he doesn't take any of our players. But let's beat the fuckers.
Well, yeah, my
point
entirely. Yeah, I think, before the game, possibly after it, depending on what happens. Harry, a new goalkeeper announced today, Jose Sarr. I think he's a 4th signing, actually. It seems an absolute snip because it was John Percy, who's a pretty reliable source at the Times. Reckon it's going to be about £6.8 million for him. He's Portugal's number 3 or something, I think. 4.
We did in the squad, was he? Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's one of those, isn't it, where I think the more football he plays probably in the Premier League and the less football Rui's going to be playing now he's moved to Roma, it's probably going to be a little bit of a transition. But what are your thoughts on the signing?
It obviously, I think everyone expected it, but I'm sad to see Rui go. I am. And like you say, Rui is the better goalkeeper. That's obvious because Rui is Portugal's number 1. And as you say, this Sarr's 3 or 4 in the pecking order. But he's got to go, hasn't he? Rui, he wants to go. He's getting on a bit. We got good fee for him. 11.5 million was it for Rui, and then we've signed this goalkeeper for 6.8. So more good transfer business from Jeff Shee and that. And as we don't know nothing about this Sarr, do we? He looks a big lad. Let's just hope he's good in goal, please. Because if not, we're going to have John Ruddy replacing him. And let's just hope he's good, man. 5-year deal. And let's just hope he hasn't got butterfingers. That's all I can say, really. I haven't seen too much of him. So,
from what I hear, he's decent, really.
Yeah.
He's. I think it's one of those deals where I'm sad to see Rui go as well. You shouldn't underestimate how crucial a position goalkeepers are. Like, if you look, Chelsea spent 70 million on Kepa and got it wrong. So, you know, the stupid things like that happen. It's not an easy position to fill. You shouldn't take them for granted, really. But at the same time, I think it's a good deal for all parties. I think it's probably Rui's last move to a really, really big club, given his age. He obviously wanted to go because he wants to play under Mourinho and challenge and play in Europe again. At the same time, Jose Sar's 5 years younger, got him on a 5-year contract. He wants to play in the Premier League because then he'll be in the Portugal squad if he does well. So, you know, I think it's good for everyone involved. And I honestly do wish Patricio all the best. He's been probably the best keeper in my lifetime, you know, up there with Matt Murray, really, in terms of, you know, probably obviously better, really, if you look at it.
Well, of course he's better than Matt Murray. I mean,
yeah, of course he is. But I'm thinking, if you're thinking of keepers that you think Wolves keepers are, who are the best ones? Oh, you think Patricio, and then before that you think Matt Murray, don't you?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mickey Stow.
So obviously Ikemi as well, but it's a completely different level.
Well, that's the interesting thing, isn't it, actually? Because it looks like he's going to take the number 1 jersey, which has been...
I think he has, because the lad we got from Barcelona, is it Trincao? He's number 11, which obviously what Rui was. So, he's number 11 now, so the new lad Sar will get number 1. Ikemi tweeted out, didn't he, like you say? So he's given the blessing, and I think that's the right thing to do, to be honest.
I found the tweet in amongst the anti-vaxxing. Harry, we saw some other transfers. You mentioned him there. What do you think of Trincao? I mean, from the comment section on Twitter, which is obviously an incredibly reliable place to go and look for information, lots of good feedback.
Yeah, well, I did the classic thing and looked at him on YouTube. Looks very good. Looks like he likes to cut inside. 25 million is the option to buy. And I think because we had our pants pulled down a little bit for Bayless's favourite player, Semedo, with a 37 million deal, I think, and because of the crisis that Barcelona are in terms of money, we've just seen Messi's had to bloody cut his wages in half. Yeah, and if he's an absolute superstar, and then we can assign him for 25 million at the end of the season, if we, take the option, this could be an incredible signing. And we know he's one of Neto's good mates from back in the day as well. So when Neto comes back, seeing them two on either wing, can they combine? And he looks good. He looks sharp. He looks, like a typical foreign winger that cuts in, that's very skillful. And let's just hope he's got the physicality, because he does look a bit like me when I was about 16 in terms of build. So let's just hope he's got the meat on him to be physical. And let's hope he's good, man, and get some goals.
Bayless, you've signed someone from Barcelona. Do you want to write him off now, or do you want to do it 20 minutes into the new season? Which one?
He's got a few games. He's got a few games. See how? Do you know what? This is the first time it's been like. Do you remember the first game against Everton at home? Where we just didn't know what to really expect. I've got that sort of feeling about me again. Could be the first 4 games. Let's just see what football we play.
Do you think it's more because you think it can't be any worse than the sort of back end of last season, really?
It wasn't very good, was it? But...
One thing that actually really worries me about these first few games, and you, Bayless, is the fact you don't have much patience. So after about, if we have got 1 point after the first 5 games, my God, these players will be written off already, wouldn't they?
I'll just reel off those games. It's Leicester away, Tottenham at home, Manchester United at home, Watford away, Brentford at home. So that's your first 5.
We've got to win 2 of the first 5, in my opinion.
I think the Spurs game, the Spurs game, the first game could be a bit tasty because of the Nuno aspect. I think the atmosphere will be rocking. I know it's on a Sunday, which annoys me a bit, but I really think, because you know what it's like, first game at Molineux, full house, it's always rocking in it, like the first game. So hopefully that can be a thing that goes in our favour, to be honest. And Trincao, we mentioned, get an hat-trick and give the V's to Nuno as he runs past him when he celebrates the third.
I mean, the one massive glimmer of hope, I think, from pre-season was seeing Raul training, wasn't it, Jack?
Yeah. The thing with Raul, obviously it's great to see him back, is that it's just, you just don't know if you always got the thing at your back of your mind where you don't know if he's going to be exactly the same again, particularly at the first, maybe not straight away. I mean, there's very little doubt that if he's fully fit, he'll start the first game. But it might take him a bit of time to get back up to speed, and you just don't know if he's going to be the same player again. Because
he'll play Saturday, won't he, against Crewe? I think he'll be.
I think he'll probably feature against Crewe on Saturday, for the first pre-season game. But yeah, you just don't know. But it's good to see him back, and it's good to see a few of the other players back as well. You've seen Podence smiling, although there's been rumours about him leaving for some reason.
He's playing against his first game of the season.
Yes, it's probably just
on
Twitter
that though. I'm shocked the amount of people that said let him go. I don't.
Yeah, I
don't know why.
I mean, we criticised him a lot, didn't we, last season, because he was in and out of injuries, wasn't he? But he did show, and you think back to that Arsenal game when Raul got injured, that goal he scored when he scooped it over. That's what he can do, isn't it? But I think he needs to be fully fit, have a good run in the team. Which, let's be honest, we've got a lot of options now, haven't we? Especially if we keep Adama and like Gibbs White's probably in the mould, to play in those attacking wide positions. It's going to be hard for him to nail down a place with Trincao. Well, obviously Neto's out for a bit at the beginning of the season, but. Yeah, once he gets a run, Podence, and he's fully fit, I think he could be a superstar. I really do.
Bayliss, we're crying out for at least one centre back. Are there any other
We've got
areas that need?
Yerson Mosquera. I don't know how you pronounce it.
He's going to be on the fringes, and he's one of those squad players. He's only young.
Sorry, I should have said quality centre back.
We don't know how fit Johnny is. And Marcel's made a Twiglets. Aitnor is a bit hit and miss. And Semedo is...
Wow.
Are you happy we signed Aitnor? 9.5 million.
Yeah.
I think Aitnor, definitely. I mean, he's going to start unless we bring in someone better, isn't he?
Considering we were quoted at 20 million, with how we got him for 9.5 million, again, great business from us.
I think we need options defensively. We looked so bad at the back. So bad at the back for game after game after game. We've got to do something there. It doesn't matter if this Bruno Lage chap can score us 3. If we concede 5 every week, it doesn't make a difference, does it?
I think everyone knows.
We're going to be playing 4 at the back too, aren't we? By the looks of it, if we play this new system.
We need a centre-back, don't we? We need a quality centre-back, and we need
you never know this.
Midfielder.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I'm sorry if I'm not. That Yerson. I call him Yerson because I can pronounce that as his first name. He looks half decent. I know he's young in his early 20s. He's only played in I think it's like the Colombian league we've got him from. But he could be an absolute beast. You don't know, do you? Because we didn't really know too much about Bolly. I know Bolly's a bit older, a bit more experienced, but you never know. He hasn't gone out on loan straight away, has he, to Grasshoppers? So he might be in Bruno's plans.
But the way they announced it, it was more like he's going to be in the first team squad, but on the fringes. He's not going to, be straight in the starting lineup. And I still think we need an experienced centre back looking around. You know what? If the way it goes now, if we get in one more centre back and sign Polinia and don't let anybody leave, I'll be happy with that. I think that's a very good window.
If we don't lose anybody,
the trouble is, there's all this stuff hanging over Neves and Traore, isn't there? And I think if you've got ambition, we need to. Unless it's stupid money, I want to keep both of them. Really.
It's funny, isn't it? Because I keep seeing 35 million for Neves to Arsenal, and I just don't see where they get that figure from.
Yeah, and another thing as well, in talking of low fees, I think Liverpool said they're willing to only pay 25 million for Traore, and I think West Ham have come in for him too. 25 million, I think that's
West
low.
Ham.
West Ham have made interest today.
Do you see West Ham? West Ham also today had a bid of 6 million for Sam Johnson rejected. That's the level they're at. That's
I think that's realistic, isn't it?
That's also insulting, I think, to Sam Johnson and Albion.
100%. If it was 25 million plus Declan Rice, I think they'd have themselves a deal. But
I was also gutted to see the superstar that's pretty much better than Aitnor Giles go out on loan. I think he could have been a starter.
I can't believe he's gone to Cardiff. It's incredible. Is he £9.5 million better?
No, we've got to stop that joke. Vinagre's gone as well, and he on loan. Vinagre, he's gone.
Yeah.
Catrone, is he going to get a chance?
He might do on Saturday.
He might do on Saturday. Yeah, I doubt he will start the season, but
I'm not sure really. Maybe he's part of the plans. You don't know. This is the thing. You got a brand new manager. It's like a clean slate for everybody, particularly players. If you're thinking like Gibbs White, it's really their chance now to show if they're going to change the system that could suit them better. And those players should be buzzing to go into training for the first time last week, whatever it was, because those who want to prove a point have got a fresh chance now in a team that everyone thinks is going to be a lot more attacking.
Can't wait for Brittany to get on Twitter after he doesn't start the first 2 games and ruin his career.
But if he does start, she'll be very proud. Jack, let's do some ticket news. If we start with pre-season, and then we'll have a chat about season tickets.
Yeah, it's the first time I've had ticket news in a year and a half, and I haven't really prepared for it. I'm very sorry. But I do know a couple of little bits. So the game at Crewe on Saturday is home fans only. Wolves fans can't travel for that. I've heard a rumour that there's going to be 2,000 available for the away game at Stoke. So I think that'll be probably the first proper away offering. maybe, unless there's another one in between that they can go to. But they're probably the first one with a big following, away at a sort of local team. What else have we got? The games. I think it's actually important to talk about the fact that there's a really attractive package to watch all five.
I'm going to say about this.
Six preseason friendlies. So we can stream them on our laptops for the convenient price of, is it $24.99?
It is $24.99.
Yeah. So
I saw that, Jack, right? But then I also saw him advertise it's going to be on Facebook for the crew game. So I just thought it'd be free. So is that like pay to watch it on Facebook too?
I don't know. Is that like we used to get whether someone streaming it off their phone?
Mate, remember in the championship, someone was streaming on Dingle's A-Week.
Maybe that's the free one, and the other 5 you pay for. But nobody's actually noticed that against Las Palmas, it is on at 9:30 in the morning on Monday, the 26th of July. So no one sort of clocked that. So you buy this package of 5 games, and one's at 9:30 in the morning, and nobody spotted that.
Is that when they're doing the warm weather training or the training camp?
Must be.
I assume.
Yeah, 9:30 Monday morning.
Spain, isn't it?
Yeah. So.
Season tickets, though, Jack. We've got to praise them for that. I know that's part of the ticket news.
Season tickets, I do have the prices. So I think everybody was really, really worried about the season ticket prices. Probably sort of the flame for that was lit by the videos where they did the Ask Jeff Shee and Ask these other really important people about what's going on. And they sort of alluded to the fact there was going to be, fairly substantial season ticket price increases, because they were saying people are of the impression that ticket revenue doesn't really impact transfers when it does, and blah 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 blah. But I think a lot of people were very pleasantly surprised about the prices when they came out. Obviously, unless you're in the Steve Ball. So the majority of people are also. Majority of people were owed a few games from the season last, which helped. So I think the renewal price for a slot behind the goals was 433 quid, which I think is very, very reasonable.
I can believe it.
Great value.
With the prices starting from 550 just for brand new season tickets. And the people who felt a little bit hard done by were the people in the Steve Ball. And I think that's because they had the highest increase out of all the stands, really. And I think maybe the argument mainly is that the stand's about to fall down. The leg room's terrible. So it's not the same as being, in the Billy Wright, really, which I think is fair enough. But I think overall, the majority of people, particularly us lot behind the goals, were buzzing, really.
Jack, you mentioned about that video, that question and answers. And because of that, but just from watching that, I think I said to you lot on WhatsApp, we're going to be looking at about, if pretend there was no rebates, I thought they'd go up to, the most expensive would be about 800 quid. And I thought the ones beyond the goal would probably be about 720, and then we'd get the rebate. So we're probably paying, 500 something. So when I've seen it, I was shocked. I was like, wow, fair play. Vinny got so much stick on them videos, and then he's come out and done this. I was like, wow.
Maybe they changed it. Maybe
they react, because there was a bad reaction. You think to the Man United game, there was a huge backlash to the price of those tickets as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So I think that must have been a thing that was.
Yeah, personally, I was thinking that they were. It's about 530 quid, wasn't it? The last season we actually had, the full season we had. I thought they were going to be about that again, but including the discount. So, £100 more than that, really. So in real terms. But very pleasantly surprised. Very happy with that. Can't moan.
So happy.
We're all definitely going to renew. I haven't yet because we've got a couple of weeks yet, haven't we? But
30th, I think, is the deadline, isn't it, to renew?
So.
Excellent. One thing which I actually forgot to mention at the beginning was this new social media site that looks to be launching called Opon. Harry, it's been launched, I think, by lots of footballers and ex-footballers. Josh Windass looks like he's one of the ones behind it. I saw it on Tom Kearney's Twitter. Essentially, it's a brand new social media site, but you have to sign up with identity. And I think the one thing that we always talk about when we talk about social media and all the hate and abuse that goes on is that we're always saying, but the social media companies don't want to do it because they'll lose loads of users and then that impacts their revenue. But the one thing I think we've never talked about is if you lose your influencers, then you really isn't worth anything, is it? So, I mean, do you see all of the top sports people? I think anybody famous or that looks to be making money in life seems to have a hard time on social media, no matter who you are. Do you think this sort of thing will work?
Well, I hope it does, because personally, I've always think this should happen, especially Twitter. I know there's problems on all platforms, but Twitter, the way it's always baffled me how you can just hide behind a profile picture and just make up a fake email address and just go on there and abuse everyone. We spoke about the racism for the England players at the beginning. I think that you should have to be verified. I don't mind you having a picture of a tree or a dog or a footballer, but when you sign up, you've got to somehow verify yourself. I think that should be the rule. And then obviously famous people are always verified anyway. And it will stop a lot of the cowards tweeting out racism, abuse and all that. And I've always been dead against it. And most of the time, it's young kids as well, young lads in their team. This football Twitter movement is mostly young lads in their, I'll say early 20s, probably late teens, early teens. And they just tweet out so much shit. And I don't know how they're allowed to get away with it, to be honest, and how Twitter and even Facebook, it happens on too, and Instagram, how they haven't cranked down on it a lot more than they already have. I'm not surprised to see these players creating this new platform, and I hope it works for them, because it's got to happen, because people go on about free speech and things like that, but they're just cowards, in my opinion.
There's a difference between freedom of speech and freedom to say whatever you want without consequence.
This is the sort of thing that needs to work. It's the sort of thing that needs to happen, and it will prove whether these influencers and pundits and whoever it happens to be that's making whatever sort of comments proves where their loyalties actually lie. And if it's in decent humanity and decency of people, then everyone will switch over to a platform where you've got to be, stand up and be counted. Stick your face on it, stick your details on it, and stick by what you say.
Sorry to put in, Bailiff. Sorry to put in.
Go on.
I know we said allegedly at the beginning. Allegedly, this Wolves fan, he was racist, wasn't he? Allegedly, he says he got hacked, but
just keep saying allegedly, we'll be fine.
Allegedly. He says he got hacked, but he had his name and his face as his profile picture, and he got arrested a day later. If he would have hid behind, but if he would have been hid behind a picture of a Wolves player and didn't have his name in there at all, he never would have got caught ever. So that's there's an example of why everyone should have to be verified, so they can get them if they do.
No, I agree that Twitter can carry on exactly as it is. Twitter can carry on exactly as it is, completely anonymous. But give us a platform where it is
verify,
and let the celebrities go on a verified one, so they know who's handing out the abuse, so they know where the racism's coming from, so they can nail it. And suddenly we'll all realise that no one wants to fucking go on Twitter anyway because it's shit.
I can't say that. I do like Twitter. I'm slightly. Out of us four, I probably use social media the most. I'm slightly addicted to Twitter. I'll be honest. But it does.
I can't go on it without getting angry.
I go on it, I scroll, but then I just get depressed. There's so much negativity on it and shit. But there is some good things too. Yeah, it needs to be sorted. They need to verify it so people can't just spout shit. Like Mike Tyson said, that famous quote. He said the difference is these days people are allowed to talk shit without getting a smack in the face. It's true, isn't it? Like they can say what they want and there's no consequences. So,
Jack.
I think it's a great idea, but we've skirted around the fact that it's not going to work and not going to happen. But to be honest,
why not though? Why do you think it won't happen?
Because there's too much money and power involved in the traffic that goes through these websites. So let's say you are an influencer and maybe not a famous sporting person, but somebody who gets paid for likes on Instagram or the amount of people that interact with their posts when they're wearing their shoes. Suddenly you go to a platform with 0.001% of the actual users, regardless of whether they're verified or not. People aren't making money off it anymore. Twitter aren't making money off it anymore. And that's the root cause of all these things. It's money.
And either Twitter have to sort it out or the influencers have to either prove. Are they more interested in their 20 grand from whoever the hell is selling?
Yes, they are. They are more interested in their 20 grand from Boohoo.
Shows how old we are. I couldn't come up with a clothing brand.
Marks and Spencer.
yeah.
Woolworths.
The Edinburgh Wool Shop. No, you're right though. And if these people that all in the last week, every single one that I've got on Instagram has tweeted something about how horrendous racial abuse is and how it should stop. If they really believe in it, come on then, jump ship and let's try and sort it out.
But it shouldn't be like that.
That'd be what I'd say.
It shouldn't be like that. That shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to leave.
If it's faceless and anonymous, it's not going to stop because faceless anonymous racists can continue to do it forever.
Yeah.
All they've got to do is close their old one and open a new one 2 minutes later.
Yeah, and at the same time, Twitter is still getting their traffic, which drives their ad revenue. So Twitter, basically, I know we're asking Twitter to bring in sanctions on themselves, which will in turn reduce their revenue and their traffic because people have to be verified. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Then maybe we have to. I don't want us to legislate though, but maybe we're gonna have to. No one wants the government to get involved in anything anymore, really.
But they're really good at
It's gonna be
things like this. They're really great. I mean, just look, we're allowed to go out finally, 16 months after a pandemic.
We are. Richard, look what Richard's put in the comments. Beer, Sun, and the Wall 77 live. Perfect night.
There you go.
Let's mood a little bit.
Where's Freedom Day? Freedom Day needs to come even sooner. Yeah, I don't know really. I think if all of the big influencers, and when I say influencers, I mean like
Fully.
Is it? You reckon? We can't go for that one.
People listening on audio won't know, but Sam's got 3 stripes of paint on his wall behind him. He's trying to choose a colour, but he's put middle blue the best sun.
See, I'm not a fan personally because it looks cold and it's sort of Albion colours.
They're like ironically, they're probably Twitter colours as well. So,
Everyone's saying middle blue. Actually,
Are they?
You got to pick that now. Is it the missus' choice? Is it?
I think it's going to be that one.
Oh, you can't even see that one.
I know.
I mean, you know that I've got great taste in these sort of things, and I'd have gone with the furthest one away, the lighter one.
What that one? But where's the things that one there? Yeah.
Anyway, let's bring it back to Wolves. You bothered with inside Vitinha?
That's sort of gone by the wayside, hasn't it? That one?
Apparently, we're not going to get him. Yeah, apparently, we're not going to sign him. Yeah. Vitinha.
I don't know. I feel like I haven't really seen enough of him, and the bits that I have seen have been very, very mixed. Like he's either been absolutely brilliant or he's done.
But like we said on countless podcasts, didn't we? I know Jack said it a lot too. Is you'd choose Aït-Nouri over Vitinha, and it seems like they have. Seems like they went with Aït-Nouri over the two. Mm.
Interesting.
Well,
do you think? Oh, go on.
There's still rumours flying around that they might do another deal, isn't there? Probably not for the first amount of money, but they might take him on for something less than that. So they might do it. Wouldn't surprise me if he ends up back here in some form.
Would you be happy with
we got Gibbs White, so
I don't know, mate. It depends on what Bruno's plan is, doesn't it? Really, you don't know. I think he would like to bring in definitely one of his own midfielders, or from somewhere, but I don't know if it would be Vitinha or not. So
it'll be João Felix. No, I'm joking. That's too much. No, but what I will say, this might be a bit of a stupid observation, but I don't know. I've been watching some of like the training videos and that he proper gets involved, doesn't he, Lage, on the training? Have you seen him? He really, He's not a manager; he's a head coach, and he's like involved in all the sessions. A bit, I suppose Nuno was too, but his enthusiasm's good to see.
I didn't know if that was just the first day though for the cameras, like
running around.
Then after that
charity game, wasn't it? I couldn't walk for 2 weeks.
And then he's like, I'll see you at Leicester away after that, Terrell.
But like Mike Bassett when he gets going, you wouldn't have a clue what to do. Turn edges.
I was thinking whether we should do predictions for the season or save that before the season starts. That might
save that so we've got all the players and that in it week before. I think.
Save that. Should we do? There was a few questions in the comments. Do you want to dig them out, Harry? We'll do them.
Which ones? Shall I scroll back up?
Does anyone think it shouldn't be the middle blue?
Yeah. Someone said we didn't mention this when we were talking about the kits. Someone said the goalie shirt looks really good, which I agree with.
I agree with the goalie shirt.
Yeah, that did look nice. The kits.
It looks quite similar to the away one. If the away one is the away one.
You do have to pay for the Facebook to watch Crew. You do.
There you go. I'm not sure about that. I don't know how I feel. I think it's because we've been so spoiled over the last, I say spoiled, given the circumstances over the last 16 months that we've been able to pretty much watch every game for free, especially last season as well, most of them last season.
We'll whack this up to...
who's your most exciting transfer so far?
We've always had the home shirt, but...
Yeah.
The most exciting transfer so far, it's probably got to be that lad from Barca, isn't it? Trincao. He seems to be a bit mustard. Sarr, I mean, it's hard to get excited over a goalkeeper, isn't it? I suppose I got excited when we signed Rui back in the first season. But
Harry, I can remember when we knew who Rui was.
A
video announcing Patricio, and you can pronounce his surname.
No, it was Jack.
I said he was a striker.
He was all smashed in America, and we did a video for Talking Wolves. He's like, it's so good to have such a good striker on the books.
That is literally a Mike Bassett moment, isn't it? Bring him on, and he just picked up the ball.
See, Richard says he'd take Vitinha on loan again. I don't know if that's an option, but would be good to bolster the squad. But I think if we're not signing him, I don't think he'll come on loan again, will he?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens. Perfect. Right, okay. Well, we'll leave that there. And I guess, do we reconvene next week? I've forgotten how it works in this closed season.
we'll do it. We'll do it as we normally do. We'll do it the week before the first game of the season. I think.
Yeah, when's
Ease back
that?
into it.
When's it actually start the season?
It's basically a month. It's like the 14th, I think, is the
14th
first
of
game.
August.
Yeah.
Saturday. 14th.
What are we calling this? The promo. The 2021-22
Big promo.
big month out
This
promo.
is just summer break, and just call it "Come on, England."
We've got to wait for I think we've got to wait for Traore and Neves to leave, haven't we? Some juicy news to talk about before we do it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, see
Yeah.
Gibbs
Tell
White
you
and
what,
then
then, tell you
break
what,
shirt.
before we go, one prediction each that's going to happen before the next pod. Wolves related.
I think we'll make a signing of a quality centre back, but I don't know who it's going to be. I'm gutted we didn't get Donnarumma on a free.
Do you want to hear my bold prediction? Raul Jimenez will join Tottenham before the season starts.
Oh my God, that is bold.
What?
Imagine that.
What? No, I can't see that.
Harry
Don't
Kane
think
to
about
City, 150 million.
Oh, stop.
Raul Jimenez, 55 million to Spurs.
Big shout.
My prediction will be that COVID sweeps the nation. The first game back will be behind closed doors.
Oh no, don't.
No, I'm not doing that.
Bayliss?
Wolves won't sign another Portuguese player before the next podcast.
Fucking hell.
Bollocks.
That's good.
We're not making any more signings then. Excellent. Right, we will say goodbye to Jack Williams,
Goodbye, everybody, and YouTube.
Dan Bayliss,
Yeah, goodbye all. Stay
Harry
safe.
Manson,
Booze hard.
Yeah, goodbye everyone. See you in a bit.
Boussard. That's goodbye from me. Goodbye.
End broadcast.